The following is an all-English language practice of Buddhist daily gongyo, or diligent practice, using the service book of Shinganji, or True Vow Temple, of the Nichiren Buddhist Sangha of the San Francisco Bay Area. This service was created following the authorized training manual for Nichiren Shu clergy called the Shute Nichiren Shu Hoyoshiki, which is the standard Nichiren Shu ceremonies and protocols. I hope that this may provide a model for those wishing to practice Nichiren Buddhism as a form of daily contemplation and cultivation of faith in the message of the Sutra, the Lotus Flower of the Wonderful Dharma, expounded to us by the eternal Shakyamuni Buddha and upheld and passed on by superior practice Bodhisattva who appeared as Nichiren Daishonin in Japan over 700 years ago. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Verse of the Place of Awakening. This place of awakening where I am is like a gem in Indra's net. All the 3 treasures of the 10 directions are gathered here. These 3 treasures are all before me. I prostrate myself in homage and raise up the Buddha's feet. With all our hearts, we revere and worship the Buddhas throughout the 10 directions. With all our hearts, we revere and worship the Dharma throughout the 10 directions. With all our hearts, we revere and worship the Sangha throughout the 10 directions. Honor be to the great mandala, the perfect circle of all honorable ones revealed by our founder Nichiren Shonin. Honor be to the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, our original teacher who attained awakening in the remotest past. Honor be to the Sutra, the Lotus Flower, the wonderful Dharma, the teaching of equality, the great wisdom, the one vehicle. Honor be to our founder, the great Bodhisattva Nichiren Shonin, dispatched by our original Buddha. Honor be to Denge Ajari Nichiji Shonin, the first overseas missionary. Honor be to the heavenly gods and benevolent deities who protect the practitioner of the one vehicle. May all you venerable ones come to this consecrated place out of your compassion toward us, see us with the light of your wisdom, and accept our offering of the savor of the Dharma. The most profound and wonderful teaching is presented in this sutra. This sutra is difficult to meet even once in thousands and millions of eons. Now we have been able to see, hear, receive, and keep this sutra. May we understand the most excellent teaching of the Tathagata. The most excellent teaching of the great vehicle is very difficult for us to understand. We shall be able to approach awakening when we see, hear, or touch this sutra. Expounding is the Buddha's reward body. Expounded is the Buddha's Dharma body. The letters composing this sutra are the Buddha's accommodative body. Just as perfume is caught by something put nearby, so shall we be richly benefited by this sutra, even when we are not aware of being so benefited, because infinite merits are accumulated in this sutra. We can expiate our past transgressions, do good deeds, and attain Buddhahood by the merits of this sutra. It does not matter whether we are wise or not, or whether we believe the sutra or slander it. This sutra is the most wonderful and most excellent, taught by the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. May we meet and receive it, birth after birth, world after world. Myoho Renge Kyo, Skillful Means, Chapter 2. At that time the world honored one, rising calmly from Samadhi, addressed Shariputra. The wisdom of Buddhas is infinite and extremely profound. The approach to their wisdom is difficult to enter and difficult to understand. It is beyond the comprehension of even Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas. Why is this? Because the Buddhas have been in close association with hundreds of thousands of millions of other Buddhas, fully practicing countless teachings of the way, boldly and diligently advancing and making their fame universally known, having accomplished the extremely profound and extraordinary Dharma. They have taught it according to what was appropriate, but their intention is difficult to grasp. Shariputra, since I became Buddha, I have spoken far and wide, and taught with various parables and examples from the past, and by countless skillful means I have led living beings, freeing them from their attachments. Why is this? Because the Tathagatas are replete with skillful means, and the paramita of knowledge and insight. Shariputra, the knowledge and insight of the Tathagatas are broad, great, profound, and far-reaching, with their infinite virtues, their unhindered wisdom, and their powers, fearlessness, meditations, emancipations, and samadhis. They have entered into the boundless realms and fully attained the extraordinary Dharma. Shariputra, the Tathagatas are able to distinguish all things, explain their teachings skillfully, use gentle words, and bring joy to the hearts of all. Since Shariputra, the Buddhas are fully accomplished in the infinite, boundless, and extraordinary Dharma. That is enough, Shariputra. I should say no more. Why is this? Because the Dharma the Buddhas have attained is understood only rarely and with great difficulty. Only a Buddha together with a Buddha can fathom the ultimate reality of all things. That is to say, among all things, each has such an appearance, such a nature, such an embodiment, such a potential, such a function, such a cause, such a condition, such an effect, such a reward, and from the first to the last, such an ultimate identity. That is to say, among all things, each has such an appearance, such a nature, such an embodiment, such a potential, such a function, such a cause, such a condition, such an effect, such a reward, and from the first to the last, such an ultimate identity. That is to say, among all things, each has such an appearance, such a nature, such an embodiment, such a potential, such a function, such a cause, such a condition, such an effect, such a reward, and from the first to the last, such an ultimate identity. Myoho Renge Kyo, the lifespan of the eternal Tathagata, chapter 16. Since I became Buddha, countless hundreds of thousands of millions of immeasurable numbers of kalpas have passed. In the innumerable kalpas since then, I have ceaselessly expounded the Dharma teaching and transforming countless millions of beings and enabling them to embark upon the Buddha way. I employed skillful means to reveal my nirvana in order to liberate all living beings. In truth, though I am not extinguished, for abide here teaching the Dharma. Although I am always dwelling in this world by using my transcendent powers, I cause living beings with distorted minds to be unable to see me. Even though I am near, all who perceive that I have perished everywhere pay homage to my relics. All who cherish and long for me look up with thirsting hearts at last, when living beings humbly believe are upright in character and gentle and flexible in mind, and with all their hearts wish to see the Buddha, even at the cost of their lives. Then I and all the Sangha appear together on Divine Eagle Peak. At that time I tell all living beings that I am always here and did not pass away. I use the power of skillful means to manifest both that I am extinguished and that I am not. In other lands there are living beings who are joyful, reverent, and faithful. Teach them the supreme Dharma among them as well. You not hearing of this merely think I have perished. I see all living beings sinking in the sea of suffering, and I do not appear before them so that they begin to thirst for me. When their hearts are filled with the deepest longing, I then come forth to teach the Dharma. Such are my transcendent powers throughout immeasurable kalpas. I am always on Divine Eagle Peak and abiding in all other places. When living beings see great fires burning at the time of the end of a kalpa, this land of mine is tranquil and calm, always filled with heavenly beings and humans. Its gardens, groves, halls, and pavilions are adorned with every kind of gem, and its jewel trees are full of blossoms and fruit. Here all living beings take their pleasure, while heavenly beings strike heavenly drums, always making any kinds of music and showering mandarava flowers on the Buddha and his great assembly. My pure land is never destroyed, yet all see it as consumed by fire and filled with every kind of grief, horror, pain, and distress. Those errant living beings, because of their bad karma, never hear of the names of the three treasures throughout immeasurable kalpas. But those who perform virtuous deeds and are gentle and upright of nature will all see me here teaching the Dharma. At times, for the sake of them all, I teach that a Buddha's lifespan is beyond measure. To those who see a Buddha only after a very long time, I teach that a Buddha is rarely met. Such is the power of my wisdom, that its light shines infinitely. My lifespan is of countless kalpas, attained through long cultivation of practice. Those of you who have wisdom give rise to no doubt about this. Bring doubt forever to an end, for the Buddha's words are valid, not in vain. Position with skillful means, who is actually alive and announces his death only in order to cure his deranged children, cannot be accused of falsehood. Like a father to all in this world, I cure their sufferings and diseases for the sake of ordinary people with distorted thinking. I say that I am extinguished, though truly I am here. Were they always to see me, they would grow complacent and self-indulgent, lose themselves in attachment to the five desires, and fall into evil paths. You always know living beings, those who practice the way and those who do not, and for their sake expound various teachings to liberate each of them accordingly. I am ever thinking, how can I cause living beings to embark upon the unsurpassable way and quickly accomplish embodiment as Buddhas? The wonderful wonderful Dharma expounded in the Lotus Sutra, whose sacred title we now chant, is what the past Buddhas taught, the present Buddhas are teaching, and the future Buddhas shall teach. It is the great Dharma, true and pure, the propagation of which was entrusted primarily to the great Bodhisattva superior practice by the Buddha on Mount Sacred Eagle. Once we chant the sacred title, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, we shall attain the right view that the 3,000 worlds exist in our minds just as they are. The pure land of tranquil light shall be made manifest in our sight. Our Buddha nature shall be identified with the Buddha of 3 bodies in one, and, together with all other beings, we shall enjoy living in the land of truth. May the sound of our chanting the sacred title permeate the whole world, be offered to the 3 treasures and bestowed on all beings. May all beings enter the world of the one reality, the great vehicle. May the Buddha land be adorned and all beings favored with the merits of our chanting. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. This sutra is so difficult to keep that if anyone keeps it even for a short while, I will be pleased, and so too will all Buddhas. People such as these will be praised by all Buddhas. Such people are courageous and strong. They are called keepers of the precepts. Therefore they will speedily attain the supreme Buddha way. In the future, those who can read and embrace this sutra will be true Buddha children, abiding in a state of pure goodness. Such people are diligent and practitioners of austerities. After the Buddha's passing, those who can grasp its meaning will serve as the eyes of the world for heavenly beings and humans. Thus should all heavenly beings and humans pay homage to those who can, even for a moment, teach it in fearful and terrifying times. We respectfully dedicate all our merits now gathered to the great benevolent teacher Shakyamuni, the eternal Buddha, to the supreme teaching, the Lotus Sutra, to the leader of the declining latter age of the Dharma, our founder, the great Bodhisattva Nichiren Shonin, and the protective deities of the Dharma. May all beings under the heavens and within the four seas live in accordance with the wonderful Dharma. May the wonderful Dharma spread throughout the 10,000 years of the declining letter age of the Dharma. May we realize this world as the eternal Buddha's pure land. May peace permeate all the world and all beings enjoy peace and happiness. May all beings live in safety and live long without misfortune. May the peace and happiness last forever and all beings be prosperous. We pray that all beings awaken to the true nature of reality, which is the Buddha Dharma. May all beings of all realms be helped equally, overcome suffering, and gain the happiness of blissful liberation through the merits of following the teaching of the Lotus Sutra. We pray for the spirits of our ancestors and for all the spirits of the universe. May we purify our minds, limit our desires, learn to be content, feel free to experience the quiet, unassuming joys of life, and learn to abandon all attachments formed in the mind. With this prayer, we endeavor to increase our understanding and appreciation of what others have given and contributed to us, and to develop constant mindful consideration of how our thoughts and actions will beneficially contribute to others. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Sentient beings are infinite. I vow to liberate them all. Defilements are innumerable. I vow to resolve them all. Dharma gates are inexhaustible. I vow to know them all. The way of the Buddha is unsurpassed. I vow to become it. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. With complete reverence, I take refuge in the Buddha. May all sentient beings embody the great way by generating the unsurpassable mind. I take refuge in the Dharma. May all sentient beings delve deeply into the Sutra treasury and obtain wisdom as vast as the sea. I take refuge in the Sangha. May all sentient beings harmonize with the great assembly, wholly free of obstructions. Honored ones, thank you for joining us. Be where you wish. Remember us and please come again out of your compassion for us. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. That is the conclusion of our service. Again, I hope that this will guide and inspire others to put the Lotus Sutra into practice in thought, word, and deed.